December of last year, we got a new president, which I celebrated. Finally! But apparently, that was some famous last words. Cause when I thought I had it bad with Yahya Çelik, it's so much worse with Can Arslan. He keeps accepting bids for our key players since he thinks he can't refuse that good of an offer. But deep down, he knows he's just a money-greedy bastard. And by the way, these bids are from goddamn Norwich, who are in the championship. How have they got that kind of money?
I'll dance for my money. Da, 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 da.
When the squad came back for the start of preseason, I said we could challenge for the title this year. But they got pissed. What the hell? First of all, we got second by a single point behind first last season. And second of all, it was the only option for me to say at the meeting. What the fuck?
What is going on here? Breakfast!
But some good news is that Mr. Respect has been sacked by Fenerbahce, as he only managed to get a 5th place finish last season. And also, I've actually managed to convince the horrific board to improve the youth recruitment, junior coaching budget, and the training and youth facilities. They've actually done something that makes sense. Back to the bad news though, Manchester United made an offer for Cem Aldogan, which was way too low. I declined it and Aldogan got pissed. So he eventually submitted a formal transfer request, which I declined. So he's staying, but he's pissed off. Before starting the season, the board accepted another offer for one of our best players. Shanghai Port made an offer for Erkan, which they accepted. But both Erkan, Bayram and Hussein decided to reject the offers they got, as they want to play Champions League football with their boyhood club. Piss off board, got the fuck out. And the final thing before starting the season, we're 5th in the season preview. So I'm looking to win the league this year after last year's final day heartbreak. We started like we meant business, as we smashed newly promoted Bodrum 4-0. Yorulmaz got the first from the spot, before Ekmen, Erkan and Duran got the 3 others. And then we beat Galatasaray 2-0 as well. Saileme scored this tap-in 7 minutes in, before Amorcan scored from Volkan FA's brilliant ball over the top. We've now got the Champions League fixtures, and it's actually outrageous. We've got Club Brugge, Barcelona, Celtic and Roma at home, and Real Sociedad, Inter, Valencia and PSG away. How is that possible? And for our first ever season in the UCL as well. But to make it a bit better, we have at least got 13 million for just qualifying for the Champions League.
Give me the fucking money.
A single chance for each team against Igdir meant we somehow managed to lose 1-0 to them. But we then hammered Çorum 5-1 to hit back. Erkan, Enes, Amorcan ×2 and Erkan again got our 5 goals. Before heading into our first ever Champions League game, we beat Samsunspor 3-2. We got 2 goals from the spot, one from Amorcan and one from Aldogan, before Erkan scored on an open goal after Yorulmaz had hit a post. But against Club Brugge, we struggled. They scored twice through Vetlesen in the opening 8 minutes. Erkan then got one back before the break. Before Nemeth and then Musa Fall scored to make it 3 and 4-1. Denizli got one for us right before the end, so we lost 4-2.
Oh, scary! Oh, shiver my timbers!
Right! That's it! I have had enough! Enough!
Away to Real Sociedad though, we took the lead 19 minutes in. And in the 67th, Duran scored this banger to double our lead. But we then conceded twice in 6 minutes. So we draw 2-2 as we lose our 2-goal lead in 6 minutes. That's so annoying. Back to the league, we smashed Manisa 4-1 as we came back from 1-0 down. Yorulmaz got the first, Aldogan got the second and third, and Denizli the 4th and final goal. But we then drew 1-1 with Konyaspor. We scored late on, before they scored even later. And against Fenerbahce, we stole a 1-1 draw, as we somehow scored first. And after they'd missed a couple more chances, Faisal scored in the 72nd. Erkan then got a brace against Adana Demirspor to get a 2-0 win. before we threw away our 2-goal lead once again. Duran and Akarslan got us a 2-0 lead against Sivasspor before we gave them 2 goals in the span of 3 minutes. That means we're second after 10 league games. It's insanely tight at the top this year. There's 3 teams on 21 points, 1 on 20 and 1 on 22. Back to Europe, we've now got Barcelona at home. It's actually insane, man. How are we playing against Barcelona? Sutter scored 11 minutes in, but it was offside as Kunde was off for blocking Bayram's view. 14 minutes later, Ferran Torres scored to take the actual lead. Not long into the second though, Erkan scored with a brilliant turn and finish. Their goalie then got this good save from Amirjan's effort, and as nothing else happened, we get a draw against Barcelona. That's actually insane.
Just so disrespectful for you to say something like that.
Our away game against Inter started like the game against Barcelona, as they scored an offside goal. So Lemes then hit the bar from this free kick, before Akarslan scored his own goal from Barella's low cross. But the same man, Barella, tackled Aldogan in his own box. So we got a pen, which Aldogan stepped up to take. And he scores! So we get an incredibly strong 1-1 draw away to Inter. Back to Turkey, Javier Garcia Pimenta has been sacked by Galatasaray after 10 games of the season. They are in 6th to be fair, and have started badly.
We? Who's we? There is no we.
In our next game against Besiktas, they hit the post with a thunderous effort just 3 minutes in. Bayram then got a great save, before Brewster scored with an outrageous finish just 3 minutes later. But in the 83rd, Amirjan shot from a short corner, which deflected off one of their defenders and went in. So we draw 1-1 with Besiktas. Yorulma scored our opener against Ankara Gucu, before Cefas equalized in the 60th. 16 minutes later though, Aldogan scored this. What a goal. Oh my days. So we win 2-1, before we only managed a 1-1 draw with Alanyaspor. An insane game against Hatayspor followed. We took the lead through the Niesli from the spot, before Erkan got our second as Gurgul shot into him. They then got 2 goals in as many minutes to equalize the game. But as Yorulmas came on, he scored with a great first-time finish to take the 3-2 lead. But then Demeli decided to stand still, so Okoronkwo scored. But in the 95th, Yorulmas scored again, so we win so deservedly 4-3 against Hatayspor as we had 4.38 xG. And against Gaziantep, we won 2-1 thanks to Duran getting a goal and an assist. Against Valencia, their goalie got a good save from Yorulmas' efforts. Bayram then got a good save for us, before they hit the bar from distance. Before Bayram got another great save. Lyle Foster then missed this decent chance, before Sailemes decided to shoot from a 30-yard free kick despite Gurgul being wide open and unmarked. Thankfully though, Duran scored with his brilliantly placed finish after a nice team attack. Duran is on my mind, and his yen is fine dined. So we pull off a huge upset to win 1-0 against Valencia. Let's go! Before heading into our game against Celtic, the Youth and Take preview came through. It's incredible, as we have 2 A's at DM and striker, as well as a B at fullbacks. We also have C's at CM, AM and wingers, so our work to upgrade the facilities and youth recruitment is finally paying off. Against Celtic, Yorulma scored his first in a UCL, to become the youngest ever goalscorer in the competition. They then equalized, before Aldogan scored an insane screamer off the bar. But they then scored again to equalize in the 85th, so we draw 2-2 with Celtic. Back to the league, we only managed a 1-1 draw with Antalyaspor, as Bayram fluffed it up for everyone with his move. But we then smashed Bursaspor 4-1. Yorulma scored with this incredible finish to get us the lead, before scoring this towering header to double it. Ekman then got our third, before Yorulma got his third. He's only gone and got a hat-trick at 16 years old. With that win, we've now beaten a record. We've gone unbeaten for 18 games in all competitions. and have set a new team record with that. And now the training and youth facilities have been upgraded and are at 4 stars. Ali Yilmaz has also won the Player of the Month for December after his hat-trick. But to ruin it all, Aldogan comes into my office to say he's considering leaving on a free transfer. I've had to promise to sell him before his contract runs out, so he's requested to be transfer listed. I'm either gonna try to get a lot of money for him, or wait so long to sell him that he actually wants to stay.
I'm so sick of these people. You know. Oh!
As for our final 2 games before the halfway point, we won 2-1 against Göztepe thanks to goals from Ekman and Erkan, before we drew 0-0 with Trabzonspor because of Yilmaz missing a goddamn penalty. So we're still in second at the halfway point. We're only a point behind Fenerbahce in first, but there's also only 2 points from us down to fourth. So it's extremely tight this season as well. Both Tottenham and Inter have now made offers for Aldogan. Tottenham's offer is way too low, while Inter have tried it with a flipping loan. I demanded too much money, so they rejected, which meant Aldogan came into my office. I said I can't let him go for less than 15 million, and he just said no. As Gurgul came on at halftime against Galatasaray, he scored 50 seconds into the second half with this deflected finish. So we win 1-0 against Galatasaray to get such a big win. We then beat Bodrum 1-0 as well, thanks to Solemes' free kick through their wall. We then got smashed 3-1 by Pep's PSG. Lamine Yamal, who somehow moved there, scored twice, before Serie Marie got their third. But against Roma, a game we had to win to get through to the knockouts, Ekman got us the lead 7 minutes in. Dukanovic then hit the post, before Duran scored a great header after Erkan's brilliant solo run to make it 2-0. So we win 2-0 to sneak through to the knockout playoff round.
You know, and Jim, they're doing the work, they're doing and they force what they...
Against Igdir, we scored 2 goals in quick succession, as Gurgul scored straight after coming on once again, before Haidar got the second and final goal in a 2-0 win. We then smashed Çorum 4-1, as Gurgul, Amercan ×2 and Solemes got our goals. 46 seconds in against Samsunspor, Amercan scored this tap-in from Ekman's brilliant low cross. Gurgul then doubled our lead with his great finish, and as they only scored once, we won 2-1. And then we beat Manisa 1-0 thanks to Amercan scoring from the spot, before heading into the knockout playoff round against Roma. Marmoush opened the scoring for them 31 minutes in. But as Yilmaz scored from Nejat's brilliant first-time low cross in the 53rd, we draw 1-1 with Roma. So we have a big task ahead of us in Rome. 2 big things happened before the second leg. Cem Aldogan, completely out of the blue, has decided he's happy to stay at the club. So he withdraws his transfer request and everything is happy days at Yeni Malatyaspor. But then Yilmaz got injured. He's got a sports hernia and is out for 4 to 5 weeks. 19 minutes into the second leg against Roma, Cristante scored this bullshit long shot from a short corner, which Bayram should just claim easily. Amercan then scored an offside goal, before scoring an actual goal 15 minutes later. Bayram then pulled off a huge save, and then 2 more incredible saves in the 62nd. But just a minute later, they scored through D'Andrea. So we lose 2-1 against Roma, and we're once again out in a knockout playoff round, even if it is in the UCL this time.
I want to be polite with you. And I prefer not to answer to the question, because your question is really a bad question.
Some good news now though is that the board have agreed to upgrade both the training and youth facilities once again. It'll be done in July, and then we're only 1 upgrade away from maxed out facilities. And Gurgul has also just won the Player of the Month for February, but we then lost 2-1 against Konyaspor. Alan St. Maximin, who somehow ended up there, scored this free kick, before Bertug scored this header. That's also our first loss in 22 games. Against Sivasspor, Duran and Nejat put together a nice 1-2, which Duran finished off with a good finish to get us the win. Right before the break against Fenerbahce, Gurgul gave away the ball, so Mehmet Fatih scored. But he made up for it with an absolute peach of a volley into the top corner just 2 minutes later. Livakovic then pulled off 2 big saves late on, to make sure it stayed at a 1-1 draw.
in that position, I just have to smash it.
Now the youth intake is here, and it is once again outrageous. We have another generational talent at striker, Yeni Malatyaspor. He, just like Yilmasmåen, is already a Super League standard player. That's insane! We also finally have a good left back in Ersin Topatar, who'll take the left back spot right away. And the final one worth mentioning is Denis Vurmas, a defensive midfielder. Hussein and Haidar made sure we got back from 1-0 down against Adana Demirspor to win 2-1 as we scored 2 goals in 3 minutes. And now we've got Besiktas in the Turkish Cup quarterfinal, which we got to by winning 3-1 against Pendikspor and 2-0 against Adana Demirspor. But here we went 1-0 down 40 minutes in, and we couldn't create anything, so we're out of the cup to Besiktas. We've now got Besiktas again, this time in the league. We conceded first once again, this time just 7 minutes in. Duran then missed a decent chance, before our new lad up front, Atakan Inan, scored from Nejat's great volleyed cross. So we draw 1-1 with Besiktas, which means we're in first with 8 games to go. Trabzonspor and Fenerbahce have a game in hand currently, and could get within 1 and 2 points respectively. So we are in the driver's seat for this title, and we also have quite an easy run-in except for Trabzonspor in the final game. But hopefully we've already got the title at that point. Before heading into the title fight, Solemes has won the next gen. That's insane! And Yilmasmåen is in 6th as well. Solemes showed why he won it in the next game, as he scored twice against Ankara Gucu in the 4-0 hammering. Yilmasmåen and Duran got the 3rd and 4th goals, by the way. Before our next game, Trabzonspor beat Fenerbahce and are now just a single point behind us. But we now also have an 8-point gap down to Fenerbahce, so it's basically just a 2-horse race now. The 32nd league game started with Osman missing a decent chance 14 minutes in, before Ekman missed a huge chance and scored an offside goal. They then hit a post from a corner, and then it hit Osman and just about went wide. In the 94th though, Emircan put in an insane cross, which Nejat scored an even better header from. Oh my god! We've just won in the most dramatic fashion to beat Alanyaspor. That is so important. But we then draw 1-1 with Hatayspor, so we're now behind Trabzonspor. And Duran has also been injured for 3 to 4 weeks.
We cannot replace him. We cannot.
And then we drew 0-0 with Gaziantep as well. And then another 0-0 draw with Antalyaspor. What the hell, man?
Oh no, he's going for this. He's going for this. Oh my goodness.
But Trabzonspor have also drawn their last 2 games, so we're still only a point off. After 3 straight draws, we finally win again. Aldogan got the opener from the spot, before Solemes scored this insane banger. Ekman then got our 3rd to make it a 3-0 win over Bursaspor. In the 37th league game, Duran missed this good chance 3 minutes in. Ekman then scored an offside goal 6 minutes later. And then they very nearly scored an own goal from Ekman's low cross, but they just about denied it. So we go back to drawing. But Trabzonspor lost their game against Galatasaray, so we're now tied on points. And if Fenerbahce had won their game, by the way, we actually would have been tied on points with them as well. That's insane. It's time for the final league game. And it is basically like a cup final, as it's an all-out brawl for the title. The game started with Hög and Hamza missing decent chances, before Ekman, Duran and Erkan missed a decent chance each for us. In the 63rd though, we put together a great team attack, which was finished off by Yilmasmåen. 15 minutes later, we scored again! Another goal from Yilmasmåen. And in the 90th, Haidar scored to make it 3. So we smashed Trabzonspor 3-0 to win the Super League title. Duran lifts the trophy as we're officially the best team in Turkey. It's the end of an absolutely incredible season, which was crowned with a Super League title. We only lost 2 games all season long. That is actually brilliant. There's a few players who stand out in terms of development. Bayram has kept performing incredibly, as he's arguably the best goalkeeper in the league now. Volkan Efe is still struggling though, while we now finally have a good left-back prospect in Ersin Topatar. Kalafat and Akarslan have kept performing, but haven't really developed, while Salemes has performed incredibly and has developed into a leading Super League player. Both Aldogan and Gurgul are now good Super League players, while Duran and Hussein has once again performed well in patches. Ekmen has been incredible, while Erkan has struggled a lot since January. Yorulmaz has had 2 spells of insane performances, and he's developed pretty well. And we now have yet another quality striker coming through in Atakan Inan. We genuinely have a bit of an issue up top, as we have 4 top-tier strikers to fill 1 position. But I guess it'll come in handy as the Manager of the Year winner Burak Yilmasmåen and his young Yeni Malatyaspor side are going for European glory from now on.